Alright guys, we're all Wrestler here, and ever since I finished my Fastlane review earlier on today, you can check that out on my channel, I have been creating my masterpiece for how WWE should book from Wrestlemania 32 all the way till Wrestlemania 33, and even, actually, up to Extreme Rules 2017. I'm going to share that with you. However, I don't want to let you know a few things before I do. So, I have picked not just people I like, but I think what this is, to me, what WWE should do, not what I want them to do, okay? This is how WWE could be very, very smart with their booking. However, I have chosen a few superstars that I like. That's just because I believe these are the ones WWE should be pushing. Also, I have not booked every single match on every pay-per-view. I've booked 3 matches on 13 pay-per-views. So keep that in mind. The main players throughout my booking will be Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Cesaro, and Seth Rollins, with supporting players being Cena, Lesnar, etc. Got it? Alright. So WrestleMania 32, and we go in, we have a few matches. So, if we can possibly do it, I would like John Cena versus The Undertaker in The Undertaker's last match. Taker will beat John Cena and then retire. Perfect ending to The Undertaker's career. We will also have Brock Lesnar against Dean Ambrose. Lesnar will win, but Ambrose will look absolutely strong coming out of the match. He'll look like an absolute top babyface and will be the top babyface in the company at this point. And then we will also have AJ Styles defeating Kevin Owens for the IC title, which is just a little thing. And just because it's a nice little push, Sami Zayn will be winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So, the main event, Roman Reigns versus Triple H. I have decided that Roman Reigns will be winning, but only because Vince McMahon screws Triple H. Vince McMahon did not like it that Triple H didn't help when Vince McMahon was being Superman punched by Roman Reigns. You're then probably thinking, but Roman Reigns attacked Vince. Vince McMahon is a businessman. He sees Roman Reigns as a marketable superstar, so he wants the title on him. I understand last year that towards the end he didn't, but that's because he didn't like Reigns. Now he sees Reigns as a viable option. So Roman Reigns wins the title, becomes the new corporate champion, becomes basically The Rock. Yes, I know I am doing that. Becomes The Rock 2.0, becomes the corporate champion, and turns heel. Because how good of a heel would he be? This hasn't turned Triple H face yet, but Roman Reigns is definitely a heel from here. So, at Extreme Rules, the next month, we have a few different encounters. We have AJ Styles retaining the IC title against Kevin Owens. Good push there. We have Brock Lesnar, who is annoyed that he didn't get a title match against Roman Reigns on this show, taking on the man who cost him the Royal Rumble, Bray Wyatt, in a no-holds-barred match, which Brock Lesnar wins after taking out every member of the Wyatt family. We also have the returning Cesaro, who comes back and says, I want to fight the best, and he calls out Dean Ambrose. Cesaro takes on Dean Ambrose on the pay-per-view in a steel cage match, which Cesaro wins by escaping via the door. John Cena, by this point, after WrestleMania, has left, so people don't get bored, to heel. Because if he comes back at Mania, he's not going to be fully healed. So he has his match at Mania, goes straight back off into the sunset, and heel's ready for when I need him again. So, the main event of the show is going to be Roman Reigns against Dolph Ziggler. Because, to get Reigns over as a dominant heel, you need to put him against a big babyface like Dolph Ziggler. Have him destroy Ziggler in this Extreme Rules match. Did I say it's going to be Extreme Rules? It's Extreme Rules. He destroys Dolph Ziggler, even though Dolph in the end fights back, hits a zigzag, can't get to the cover, Reigns spear. 1, 2, 3, Roman Reigns retains, and we go on to Payback. At Payback, we have some of the same matches. We have AJ Styles, again defending the IC title, but this time it's against Adrian Neville or Tyler Breeze. I don't mind which one they go with, I haven't fully decided. Regardless of who it is, I would say Breeze because I think he needs more of the push and he's a heel. AJ Styles will retain, but that also establishes Tyler Breeze as a prominent mid-carder. We also have Cesaro taking on Dean Ambrose again, this time in a 2 out of 3 falls match, which Ambrose wins. However, after the matchup, Cesaro turns heel on Dean Ambrose, because let's book Cesaro as a heel, and a cool, smart heel. Not a dominant heel like Reigns, but a smart, technical heel. I think that's a good idea. So after the matchup, he loses 2-1, low blows Ambrose, gives him the neutralizer, leaves the ring. And our main event on this pay-per-view, to make Reigns look like a dominant champion, this time, triple threat match. Roman Reigns against Dolph Ziggler against the former Intercontinental Champion, Kevin Owens, in which Roman Reigns retains, but this time he does it with no outside interference. There's nothing stopping him from there's nothing, he doesn't get any help whatsoever. He defeats Ziggler, pins, we'll have him pin Ziggler, I think. We'll keep Owens not pinned at this point. Roman Reigns will pin Dolph Ziggler again on pay-per-view, retains the title. Again, it's good because it's making Owens a main eventer, and it's also making Ziggler a main eventer. Money in the Bank comes round, and okay, so we've got 2 or 3 matches on this show. We have the return of Seth Rollins, who returns and takes on the Intercontinental Champion AJ Styles, not for the title. So Rollins returns, takes on the IC Champion, and beats AJ Styles. It's a non-title match, so he doesn't win the title, and Rollins comes out on the next night, and Rollins says, I didn't want the IC title, that's why I wanted it as a non-title match. We'll find out why at the next pay-per-view. Also, in the Money in the Bank ladder match, we have 7 superstars. We have Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Dolph Ziggler, Tyler Breeze, Sheamus, because we need a guy like Sheamus, and Alberto Del Rio. Oh, also Cesaro, and the winner of the Money in the Bank, Cesaro, because let's push a heel Money in the Bank winner. Cesaro, the new heel, after we established he's a heel at Payback, wins the Money in the Bank. It's cool. Our main event of this pay-per-view is Roman Reigns taking on the returning John Cena. Reigns destroys John Cena. He obliterates John Cena. The crowd are absolutely silent. Reigns is becoming the new Brock Lesnar by destroying Cena. He becomes the new face of the WWE, but he also becomes a top heel by taking out the top babyface, regardless of your opinion. Reigns shows how good of a superstar he is, how talented he is, by beating the face of the WWE and proclaiming himself as the new face. Not in a ladder match, just a normal match. Just thought. SummerSlam, and you know why Seth Rollins returned and didn't want an IC title match? Because he wants John Cena on pay-per-view. Now I know what you're thinking, John Cena doesn't lose much on pay-per-view. If you look at the SummerSlam pay-per-view, John Cena loses a lot at SummerSlam, and actually he's lost clean a few times. He lost in 2008 to Batista, he lost in 2013 to Daniel Bryan, and he lost in 2014 to Brock Lesnar. So here, we're going to have Seth Rollins defeat John Cena clean on pay-per-view to make Rollins one of the top baby faces in the company. Now, I know what you're thinking, Cena losing twice on pay-per-view. Let's just push imagination aside and dream that this could happen. Him losing to Reigns and making Reigns a dominant top heel. Him losing to Rollins, making Rollins a top babyface. Because you can see what I'm setting up right now. Also, he wins cleanly, which Rollins has never done, and that eats away at him. When he comes back, he says, you know what? I've beaten some of the best in this company. I've beaten John Cena, but I've never beaten him clean. There's always been an asterisk next to it. And I want John Cena at SummerSlam. John Cena says, you know what? Fine. Gives him the opportunity. Rollins pins Cena at SummerSlam. with the Phoenix Splash, because now he's a babyface, so he can pull off the high-risk maneuvers. We also have on this card Kevin Owens beating Sami Zayn for the US title, because Zayn won it after WrestleMania. Why not? And we also have Dean Ambrose beating Cesaro in a singles match to end their feud for now, because Cesaro actually throws Ambrose off the ladder at Money in the Bank, and then Cesaro climbs it and takes the briefcase for himself. So, our main event of SummerSlam, what is it? Well, it's Roman Reigns defending the title against Brock Lesnar. Because bringing Lesnar back at SummerSlam, how over is he going to be returning to face the top heel in the company? And how shocking is it going to be when Roman Reigns wins? Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm going to annoy the IWC by saying that Reigns is going to beat Lesnar. But think about how satisfying it is going to be when somebody finally beats Reigns. Reigns beats Lesnar, but it isn't a domination. He doesn't dominate Lesnar. It's an even battle. It's a war with Superman punches and F5s and Germans and spears. But in the end, after the third spear, Roman Reigns retains the WWE World title. Still the top heel in the company. And now he has beaten John Cena and Brock Lesnar. So, at Night of Champions, we need to look for a number one contender for Reigns' title. So we have, firstly, we have a number one contenders triple threat match between Dean Ambrose, who of course beat Cesaro on the last pay-per-view. We have John Cena, who lost on the last pay-per-view, but he's in there because Vince, he wants to make sure he's got a backup. Even though Cena is still a babyface, Vince wants to make sure he's got a backup if Reigns does ever lose the title. And the third member in this matchup is the returning Randy Orton. This time, returning as a face. Cool. Good job for Orton. And in this matchup, the winner, Dean Ambrose. He has a huge victory over Cena and Orton, pinning Randy Orton, because we can't have Cena be pinned on another pay-per-view. Orton being pinned isn't going to do anything to dampen his career, so it's absolutely fine. Orton is frustrated after the match. RKO's John Cena, turns heel. Orton heel is always going to be better than Orton face, so that's cool. The only other matchup I've got on this show is the world title main event, Reigns versus Rollins. It's never happened for the title in the main event of a show. It's going to happen at Night of Champions, but the matchup doesn't end cleanly. It ends with a double pinfall. Rollins hits the Phoenix Splash on Roman Reigns, but Rollins drapes the left arm. Reigns, as he's doing it, drapes the right arm. Both men count, which means it's a draw, which means Reigns, luckily, gets by and retains his title. This is the first time you see cracks start to show in Reigns' his reign, because, he beat Cena, he beat Lesnar, he beat Ziggler and Owens, and he had a dominant reign. But now, he just squeaked by Rollins, and that is because Rollins knows what Reigns so well. Cena and Lesnar don't know Reigns like Rollins does, and Rollins can play that up in the feud. So now we're on Survivor Series, and our just a mid-match on the card, we have Cesaro beating Seth Rollins, because let's build Cesaro up. Just kind of randomly, Cesaro, after the matchup, beats Rollins. Just to remind everyone, Cesaro is our Money in the Bank winner, but he doesn't win clean. He wins by holding the tights. I think that's a fine finish. Cesaro can't beat Rollins clean at this point, to be honest. He needs to win cheating. I would either go the tights, or I would go with him utilising the ropes for leverage. Also on this show, we have Cena versus Orton, which Cena wins. However, to establish Orton in the build to Survivor Series, Orton is going to beat several top faces, like Dolph Ziggler. He's going to beat Adrian Neville, and he's going to beat the former US champion Sami Zayn, because that's going to get Orton over as a dominant heel. Then Cena comes in Survivor Series and beats him, but only just. We are starting to show at this point the wear in John Cena, because the injuries have started to pack up on John Cena, and when we get to the WrestleMania 33, we'll see what happens. Our main event of Survivor Series is, of course, Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns for the title And this is where the reign of Reigns ends. Dean Ambrose defeats Roman Reigns for the title. However, he doesn't do it cleanly. We want to show that Reigns is dominant even in defeat. So, goes for the spear. And on the Tron comes Triple H. The King of Kings comes to the ring with a sledgehammer. The referee at this point has been knocked down by Reigns. Triple H clocks Reigns with a sledgehammer. Drapes Dean Ambrose's arm over Roman Reigns. 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose, kind of like Mankind did on Raw back in 1999, wins the title with help from Triple H, even though it was The Rock back then. So it's kind of irony, dramatic irony. Play that up a bit. Dean Ambrose is the top babyface, and he has the title. That's how Survivor Series ends. I think that's a great ending. At Tables, Ladders and Chairs, we aren't going to do the Triple H Reigns match yet. Reigns decides, you know what, priority is getting the belt back. So our main event of the show will be Ambrose versus Roman Reigns in a Tables, Ladders and Chairs match, which Ambrose wins and retains the title over Roman Reigns, but again, only just. You know, we need to play up how dominant Roman Reigns as a heel is. Roman Reigns does everything to win, pokes to the eye, low blows, it's necessary. Ambrose can do exactly the same. That's the sort of babyface Ambrose is. Also on this night, we have the reuniting of the feud from Survivor Series between Cesaro and Seth Rollins. Cesaro and Rollins go one-on-one in a ladder match for Cesaro's Money in the Bank contract, which Cesaro in the end wins after giving Rollins a neutralizer onto a chair or something. We also have, just to give Cena a little bit more credit, because, you know, Cena at this point is showing a lot of wear in his career, is starting to sort of buckle on him. Cena beats Bray Wyatt in a tables match. Again, Bray Wyatt losing to Cena isn't bad because it's a high-profile match for Bray Wyatt, and it's good to get him on a pay-per-view in a match with John Cena, and especially a table match. Finally, just another thing, Kevin Owens retains the US title in a chairs match, probably against Sami Zayn or a Neville or something like that. Randy Orton isn't on the show. Randy Orton is not on this pay-per-view because he decides he doesn't need to be on the show. He says, I'm only on the Big Four pay-per-views. So Randy Orton is also a top heel, kind of like Roman Reigns. Going into the Royal Rumble, I've only got 2 matches down in here. Ambrose is attacked by Randy Orton on the Raw after TLC. Orton vs Ambrose is set up for Royal Rumble. Ambrose retains only with a schoolboy, after which Orton attacks him again, showing the wear of Randy Orton, showing the wear in his career, how the injuries which he suffered, the shoulder injury of course, which is going to have him out for a long time anyway, how it's affected his career. He's losing more. He got caught on that roll-up, he couldn't get his shoulder up. Just play up that. And the Royal Rumble match, the last 2 men in the ring are Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. Roman Reigns wins the Royal Rumble again, but this time it's a double victory as Rollins and Reigns hit the floor at the same time. So who's going to be the opponent for WrestleMania? Well, as Fastlane has done for the past 2 years, we will find out. As at Fastlane, Ambrose, firstly, takes on Randy Orton again in a matchup where he retains the title again. Ambrose showing he's a dominant champion. Orton again wondering what he's got to do now in his career. Orton's a heel, but he's starting to drop down as a heel. He's starting to, like, question his heel tactics. He's starting to be like, you know, my injuries and stuff are starting to really prohibit me, so should I be acting like this? And in the main event of the show, because Ambrose and Orton is going to be the match before the main event, so we know that one of them is going to be in the final, and then we find out the main event, Reigns versus Rollins. Again, this match ends spottily. Rollins beats Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns' foot is on the ropes. Reigns has a serious issue with this on the next night on Raw, and it is established at WrestleMania that there will be a triple threat match for the title. Vince McMahon's got his hand in saying, oh, Reigns didn't actually lose because he had his foot on the ropes. So our main event of WrestleMania 33 is a triple threat match between Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins, which we will get to in a minute. Also on this show, we have Finn Balor, just, you know, a rivalry has been going on with Balor and AJ Styles. Balor wins the IC title, but only because of the help of the Balor Club, Gallows and Anderson. Also, we have, there's no Undertaker anymore, so we can't have that, so we've got to have another big match. We have the last match of either John Cena or Randy Orton's career as they face each other. If I was going to give Orton or Cena a last match, it would have to be against each other because they are each other's biggest rivals. Regardless, I think after this matchup, Orton should beat John Cena and Cena should hang up his boots the next night on Raw and say, you know what, my injuries are starting to pile up, now it's time to turn it in. And Randy Orton at the end embraces John Cena, not as a full-on heel, but out of respect. They don't like each other, they respect each other. So getting back to the main event, Ambrose, Reigns and Rollins. In the end, Ambrose retains against Reigns and Rollins, catching Seth Rollins in a dirty deeds for the victory. Reigns wasn't pinned, but he still loses the matchup. And at Extreme Rules, the next show, I decided to book this show as well, kind of to finish the story and wrap it up. We have a rematch of the Mania main event, triple threat, Ambrose, Rollins and Reigns, which Ambrose wins again by pinning Reigns this time. However, after the matchup, Reigns beats down Ambrose, gives him a spear. Rollins fights off Reigns. Rollins and Ambrose aren't friends yet, but they do nod at each other, and Rollins does give Ambrose the ring to celebrate. But just then, you hear the siren, and Cesaro comes out with his Money in the Bank briefcase, cashes it in, hits 2 uppercuts, a neutralizer. Ambrose kicks out, picks him up, colossal uppercut, neutralizer. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro is the new WWE World Champion, and that is where my booking ends. So, thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolve Wrestler. I hope you enjoyed my booking. Tell me what you think. Do you think I've booked correctly? Do you like my booking? Do you think it's a bit silly? Do you think it's too over the top? It's probably a little bit too over the top. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolve Wrestler. Like, comment, and subscribe for more.